We're going to teach you how to make jambalaya Cajun style, but it's called Bubbalaya because my name's Bubba. So we're going to put in the first thing we're going to do is put in Magnolite pots, big one and medium sized one. We're going to put in a gallon of water in the big pot. We're going to bring it to a boil. We're going to add in some of the, we need bell pepper. We use this Guidry's Creole seasoning. It's got yellow onions, bell pepper, celery, green onions, parsley, and garlic, all mixed in together. I like a little more green, so I add another bell pepper in it. We use Savoy sausage. It's a smoked sausage made in Louisiana. It's real good. We use Tony Chachere's seasoning. A little bit of mixed or minced garlic. And some chicken bouillon cubes. That's going to help bring out the chicken flavor. So the first step is to get the water boiling and get your sausage browning. We want to get the sausage cooked in one pot by itself. We want to get it to make like an oil, and we want to brown the sausage in a pot by itself. The chicken, we can add the chicken that we got. This is about 2.5 pounds of chicken breast, because I like white meat. We're going to add that straight into the water. We're going to stir that up a little bit. We're going to let that chicken cook in the water. And bring this to a boil. Then we'll start looking at adding seasoning and mixing it all together on our next little clip. Alright, in Louisiana we like to use as much Cajun stuff as we can find. So Tony's Creole seasoning is typically what we use for a lot of meals down here. And the Cajun country rice, you see the little guy playing the accordion, typical Cajun music. Guidry's, well-known Cajun name. People who make the Creole seasoning. You know, any kind of garlic will do. And bouillon cubes come in different kinds. The Lydia food store, it's a little store down the road from the house, costs $6.64 for 2.5 pounds of chicken breast. You can see that's the Lydia food store. A good little store right down the road. So, look what we got. You don't want your sausage to stick and burn on one side, so you got to kind of work on stirring the sausage up. And you can see it's going to start getting a little oily in the bottom. And what you can do to help it from sticking, we use a little drinking water. Add a little bit of water in there. Kind of help it not stick and create an oil. Because you want the sausage juice and the sausage oil. That's going to be real important to add to the flavor. Lots of stirring on the sausage. Like I say, you don't want it to stick. As you can see in the bottom, you see how it's starting to make like a little oil. That's going to be added into the chicken, the sausage, and the oil from the sausage is going to be added into the chicken, and it's going to make it real good. But you want to get it brown first. Cook it and brown it really good. See how this sausage gets a little brown at the bottom down there? And the pot sticking, add a little water, and then scratch all of this up. Mix it in real good. last part of your gravy. Very important. Very, very important. This part of your gravy. See, it'll come all up. Make a nice brown gravy. And oil. We don't worry about fats and oils when we down cooking. So it makes it good. Start to come out good. The water. Let it cook. Now you see the chicken in the water makes a broth. And what we want to do to enhance that is we got the chicken bouillon cubes. A pot about this size with 2 pounds of chicken, gallon of water, all that. We're going to put about 2, 4, 6, 7 bouillon balls. So we start unwrapping them and dropping them in. And that's going to make the broth yellowy, like enhanced chicken flavor. All 7 of them. Alright, then we want to go ahead and take some Tony Sachet seasoning. There's no set amount. Pot like that, about that size, typically what I do, I sprinkle it over the top. Just kind of cover the top. Make sure it kind of covers like that. About like that, that much. You can always add a little more later to taste if you want. Get that, stir it up. And let these bouillon cubes cook. All the chicken's in there starting to cook. All mixed together, and it's going to start to turn a yellow color in the water from the bouillon cubes, and the seasoning is going to get really pretty. Alright, now the sausage. The sausage is just about the way we want it. I see that's pretty good. This sausage, and we're going to dump it in here. Okay. And let all the juices from the sausage that we cooked, and all of this good stuff, let it go in there. Alright. And mix that up. Your fire's on kind of high because you want to bring this, you want to get this to come up to a boil. So right now we got chicken and sausage, we got bouillon cubes, the oil from the sausage, and a little Tony Sachet seasoning, all starting to formulate in there. Alright, and that's what it looks like at this point. Alright, be back in a little bit. See, this bouillon cubes have melted up real good. Things are starting to look good. Chicken's cooking. Now's the time. We want to add this Guidry's Creole seasoning, which, as you can see, has lots of onions, bell peppers, and all that, which we talked about earlier. So just go ahead and add that in there. No wasting in Cajun, man. Just get all of that stuff out of there. Okay. Good enough. And then I like a little more green, so I cut up a bell pepper. I'm gonna add that bell pepper in there as well. Alright. Then stir that up real good. Now we want to let the onions cook down. Onions, bell pepper, everything's going to add additional flavor in here. Now we already got the bouillon cubes. We got the chicken, we got the sausage, chicken, sausage, onions, green onions, the bouillon cubes have melted down. We're going to let this cook, but we want to bring it into a boil. So, best thing to do, once that's all in there, put your lid on, let it come up to a boil. Alright, forgot, before we got this boiling, when I added all the onions in, we want to add some garlic. Garlic makes it have a little flavor. Put about a tablespoon of garlic in there. Okay? Then we go a little more. I like that. Take that garlic, make sure you stir it up in here. You don't want it just in one spot, we want it to mix in throughout the jambalaya, so stir this up. Real good. Bring it to a ball. And as you can tell, we're cooking this whole meal on a Coleman cooktop. That shows you can do it out there in the campground or anywhere you want. You can make this jambalaya with a little cooktop. Alright, we'll be back later. Alright, we're going to check on the jambalaya, bubbalaya. Oh, things are coming up to boil. Alright. Onions are still got a little ways to go. You want to see them where they're getting transparent, but you want to see how they're coming out. And now's about time that we do a little taste test. And just by the look of it, I think we need a little more seasoning. We're going to have to let this cool down just a second. Yep, we need a little bit more. So we're going to put in a little more of Tony's. Put in a little bit more of that. Not really much. Like that. We're going to stir that in there. Got this nice color to it. It's kind of yellow from the broth and everything. You see that color? Kind of yellowish, a little bit of oily on top of the sausage. It's going to be really good. Get all that seasoning mixed around in there. And we'll give it a little more time for the onions. I want to see them a little bit clearer. They're still a little white. We like them clear. So we'll give it a little bit more. Okay. Let it boil. Put your lid on and let it go. Alright. Here we go. Take a look at it. That's looking good. Looking like we want it to look. Onions are pretty clear, plus it's going to cook a little while in the rice. Now here's the kind of a tricky part. Okay. We got our Cajun country rice here. We got a big pot. It's about 2/3 of it's filled with the chicken and the sausage and the water and everything. It's a little bit of a guesstimation, but typically this is a 10-pound bag of rice. Usually buy it in a 5-pound bag. 5 pounds in a pot of this size. 5 pounds of rice is about what you'd have. So what we want to do is we're going to add about half of this rice into this pot. Okay? So let's get started. Now, the trick to good jambalaya is the rice is going to cook in here and it's going to soak up all of this gravy that we've made in here, all of the chicken and the sausage and the bouillon cubes and the seasonings and everything. The rice is going to suck up all of this juice, and that's what's going to cook your rice. So let's start adding the rice in there, bring it around. I would say a little bit more. Okay. That's about half the bag. It's about 5 pounds. You can see the rice in there. Now what you want to do is you want to stir this up. Now, one of the tricks is that we cooked our boiling water and everything in here, and look how it's real pretty color now. We cooked that on a high fire. Take a look at that fire to make it boil. But we don't want to burn our rice on the bottom. So what we want to do is turn down these fires to about a medium fire. Okay? Get them turned down to where it's just a nice little medium fire under there. Because we don't want to blast flames under that pot and burn our rice. If you burn the rice, it's going to smell bad. It's going to ruin your jambalaya. So don't do that. Leave the pot, the lid off for now. And because you're going to continually stir this up and get the rice on the bottom off. Later, we'll add the lid on top, but after the rice kind of cooks and sucks up all this gravy, then we're going to turn our fires really, really low and add the lid on and cook for another 10 minutes or so. So, this rice is going to start to cook, and you don't want it to stick to the bottom and burn. So, kind of, and you can see where your flame, like the flame is on the end of this pot and on the end over here. So it's going to get a lot hotter here on the bottom in the corners. So always make sure you get that corner stirred around, you know, to get the that rice from settling in that little corner where the flame is and burn it. You don't want to burn it, so real important to turn down your fire after you add the rice in there. You see that rice is all going to be in there. Alright. Stir it up real good. Make sure your rice is mixed in everywhere. Make sure your flames are low like you want them, a real low flame. And let it set there and with the top off and just start to cook. That rice is going to start sucking up all that juice. Pretty soon there'll be no juice. It'll just be jambalaya. Alright, at this point you can see that we have a little bit of juice coming out the top. It's been about 8 minutes or so since we added the rice. You can see the rice is actually soaked up and started cooking and fluffing up. Now, you don't want it to be liquidy. It's going to end up being without any juice. All that juice is going to be soaked up. But at this point, when you get just to see a little juice at the top, okay, and you make sure you stir your corners at the bottom where your flames are. Get that rice off of those flames and stir it around where it'll mix. Okay, see how it's starting to come out really good. Stir this side where we got a flame on this side on our little Coleman stove. Okay, stir that side up. At this point right here, it's real important. Turn these flames down to hardly anything. Just barely a flame. Okay? Just enough to keep it warm. Then go ahead and add your lid on. Okay, and let this start to steam and cook the rest of the way. Now we're going to check on it in about another 5 minutes or so. Well, let's give it about 6 or 7 minutes. Then we're going to turn off the fire. Don't take the lid off again. The steam in there is going to cook the rest of the rice away and the juice is out, and it's going to cook, finally be done. So after that move there, we'll turn the fire off and we'll let the lid stay on and cool down, and all the steam finish cooking the rice. So right now we put the lid on and barely a flame. Alright, okay, last part of it, you remember all the juice was about gone. We stirred it real good, we put the lid on, and we brought the fires barely to the fire. Been about 5-6 minutes. We want to go ahead and turn our fires off. Don't take the lid off. It's going to release a lot of the steam. The steam is going to finish cooking everything. We didn't want to burn our rice, so we did it all on low. So now we're going to just kill it and let it set. We'll be back in about 20 minutes. Alright, we're back. It's been about 15, I don't know, 20 minutes, close enough. We're going to lift this off. It's going to have some steam. We're going to see what we got. Ooh, yeah. And it smells good. As you can see, it is cooked down, fluffy rice. And man, it is looking good. This is our Bubbalaya. We'll let this cool for a few minutes and it's time to eat. And there you go. Really good stuff.